Introducing first, representing subculture, Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah, very interesting that the Riot Cabaret Men's World Champion Mark Andrews promising that both Flash Morgan Webster and Danny Luna will stay away in our main event a little bit later on, but to be honest, Sean, they kind of need to because they've got their own business to take care of tonight, including right now for Webster against Nico Angelo.
Nico Angelo has been on a rampage since Subculture cost him the Riot Cabaret World Championship at All Singing, All Dancing. Danny Luna's got her own Riot Cabaret Women's Championship aspirations after they were snatched away by Nina Samuels at the last show. However, what's interesting here is that there is a vested interest from Mark Andrews now to keep Subculture away from ringside, because if they do stay away and Mark Andrews is somehow victorious, then that means Eddie Dennis is gone from Riot Cabaret for good.
He is a delight, isn't he, Flash Morgan Webster? Always a joy to see him. Nico Angelo was supposed to get his hands on Flash Morgan Webster at the Jingle Bell Brawl, but with Andrews injured, Webster instead represented him in that world title match, our main event that night against Eddie Dennis. Instead, Angelo faced a hired gun in Mulligan. Sure, we didn't think that he'd be able to put Mulligan away with the split personality, but boy, were we wrong.
As we've said before, every time we think that something's impossible, Nico Angelo redefines what impossible is. And we thought it was going to be impossible to finally get Nico Angelo and Flash Morgan Webster in the same ring. This is for the third time of trying. This is, Dave, the first time Flash Morgan Webster just purely flat out refused the match. The second time at Christmas, we had that whole fiasco with the replacement. Now, we're finally going to see Nico Angelo against Flash Morgan Webster one-on-one, which is the first time that's happened anywhere.
Well, what a match this promises to be. Now we have finally got it in the ring. Flash Morgan Webster has wrestled all around the world, including notably in TNA in recent times. Nico Angelo talked about, quite rightly, as one of the stars of this generation of British wrestling. This bad blood between Angelo and Subculture goes back well into last year, including, of course, All Singing, All Dancing in August, where Subculture cost Angelo and indeed Michael Oka as well the world title in a three-way match against Mark Andrews. Webster taking his time here, but speaking of August, don't forget this coming August we are back with you. Someone's knocking at the door, August 22nd, as the Riot Cabaret calendar for 2025 continues to fill up. Only one of these two men going to start this new year with a victory here.
Where we've said now we're finally.
How many times is this going to happen? I said, well, we finally got it in the ring.
Well, Flash Morgan Webster really making us wait.
Yeah, Webster is trying to, I think, just frustrate Angelo. And, you know, there's quite a lot of wrestlers in the Riot Cabaret locker room who have a bit of a short fuse, but you've got to have to say Angelo is right up there in that regard. And Webster, I think, knows that.
Oh!
Angelo caught him that time.
Flash Morgan Webster took his eye off the ball and is paid for it now. Oh my God.
Chop. The heart stopper.
I think the fans felt that rattle through the barricade.
An uppercut to follow up as Webster now just trying to get some distance between himself and Angelo if he possibly can. Angelo will brawl through the crowd all night. We talked about us taking a few goes to get this into the ring. Well, Angelo has been just chomping at the bit here to get his hands on Webster, and now he's going to enjoy himself.
It's sounding pretty brutal.
Webster getting into the ring and then back out, resetting the referee's count. Angelo finally able to back Webster into the ring and free himself. I think Angelo just told some of these fans in the front couple of rows to move out of the way. As Webster tried to come at him. Oh! Webster gets dumped on the ring apron.
Spine first. And I think Flash Morgan Webster is regretting the early match hijinks, because all I think that has done is infuriate the man with the black heart of gold.
And you can see why Webster's done everything he can to avoid getting in there with Angelo. Another big uppercut from Angelo, who tries to force those shoulders down into the canvas, gets a 1 count. Webster, now this is in the ring, needs to find a way into this, he needs to do it quickly, doesn't have the rest of Subculture out here with him, able to avoid Angelo there, crawls under the legs of the referee. He used the referee as a human shield here. Oh, wow! Another big strike to the head of Flash Morgan Webster from Nico Angelo.
If we think that's the lowest depth Flash Morgan Webster can sink to, you haven't seen anything yet.
Here comes Angelo, Webster out of the way. Webster congratulating himself on his own genius, but it was a little premature. Angelo catches him again.
It's like an open palm strike to the eardrum. Flash Morgan Webster's head just completely ringing, but still now ramming Nico Angelo's head into the exposed turnbuckle, the metal part that holds the pad to the post.
And Webster using every trick he knows, all of his veteran instincts there to gain the upper hand ahead of that. Before you just running Angelo all the way across the length of the ring to force him into that metal turnbuckle. And Webster seeming to revel here in the antagonism of the Clapham Grand crowd.
Well, Nico Angelo's in a little bit of trouble here, because if Tom Scarborough gets to the count of 10, this one is done and dusted.
He's already
Nico Angelo, who's on a little bit of a winning streak.
He's in at the count of 7.
Oh, God!
That big shining wizard may have knocked Angelo out. Kick out on 2, but Webster's made his point here. He's been able to just outsmart Angelo, outsmart the official quite honestly as well, to gain himself the upper hand. It's typical Subculture, Sean, by any means necessary, whatever gives you that advantage, Webster will do it.
Well, they're the absolute veterans of the game. Some of the smartest.
Here we go.
Uncover
Webster.
The smartest wrestlers again. Whatever you think of their attitude or not, the combination of wrestling intelligence between Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, and Danny Luna it's a real force for anyone to have to deal with.
And they're hoping for a clean sweep tonight. Webster defeating Angelo. Danny Luna winning that Ultimate Riot match to become the #1 contender for the Women's World title later on. And of course, Andrews not only retaining the Men's World title, but in the process forcing Eddie Dennis to leave Riot Cabaret. That's the plan for tonight. We'll see if everything goes to plan. Here's a roll up from Angelo. This would be a little obstacle in the way of the plan, wouldn't it? But no, the German suplex from Angelo.
Step one of that plan's looking in a lot of trouble for Subculture after that German suplex.
Crowd in fine voice in support of Angelo. The man with the black heart of gold using the ropes to bring himself back up to his feet. Looks like he's got a second wind here. Webster's in trouble. Webster with no defense for that. Webster though now firing back. Quick fire strikes. Got caught though. Big body slam. Very aggressive from Angelo. He's on the second turnbuckle here. Here comes Angelo. dropping the elbow deep into the heart of Webster, going for the cover, and that's the closest that either man has come so far. Look at Angelo, straight back to stalking Webster here. Now what a kick. So much venom behind every one of those strikes from Angelo. Angelo with a battle cry here.
Might be looking for the Void Walker here.
Webster, great counter! Great counter from Webster into the reverse Rana.
That could be it.
Webster's got both legs hooked here on Angelo, who somehow is able to kick out. Goodness me, how quickly did Webster turn the tables?
Got impressive stuff by Flash Morgan Webster.
And Webster might be looking for the, well, I think he was going to look for the shadow over Malice, but it's academic because Angelo very quickly grabbing that left leg. Angelo still trying to prevent Webster from getting to the top here.
Flash might be in a little bit of trouble now. Nico's managed to recover. I don't know how he's recovered, but that's the resilience of Nico Angelo that we see.
Let's try for the superplex here. I don't care how resilient either of these men either get superplexed. It's a short way to the locker room. Hang on a second though. Webster. Oh, I think he went for a 450. Adjusted in mid-air.
Oh, God, in the fog.
Angelo gonna try, I think, for the split personality.
Oh,
a code red. The
two.
cover from Webster, and Angelo kicked out, but another impressive counter from Flash Morgan Webster.
Flash Morgan Webster showing that underneath the chicanery, the despicable attitude, he's got some insane moves in his locker. And it's a little shades of the old Flash Morgan Webster that we once upon a time knew and loved.
Webster with a grimace on his face here as Angelo once more trying to pull himself to his feet. Webster indicating that the end is coming here, but maybe not. Angelo got the boot up. Kick from Webster around the side of the head. Now Webster going to try and hit something here off the top, maybe a Hurricane Rana. Has he got him? No, he hasn't.
Holy shit, what are we going to see here?
Angelo's caught him. Wait a second here.
No way.
No, God,
no.
no.
Surely not. Way! Oh my God!
A super split personality from Nico Angelo, and you can count to 100.
Here is your winner.
What have I just seen?
Angelo!
I told you, I'm going to be white. I'm going to be. The fog is coming.
I am speechless, Dave. Speechless.
Someone check if Webster's got a pulse. Nico Angelo finally gets what he wants from Flash Morgan Webster. A split personality, unlike any we've ever seen, to put away 1/3 of subculture here at Mamma Mia. Here we go again.